All right, everybody, this is Zero, and today we're going to hold a round table. Hopefully, get a whole round table discussion. Hopefully, people want to come and talk about this. And I'm sure, people have wondered, maybe like a year or two ago, what happened to the Saturday morning cartoons. And I got an article that will explain, answer all your questions. So I'm gonna get into it. Let me go ahead and get this one here. All right, here we go. Oh dang, I forgot to. Oops, my bad. I forgot to. Thought I clicked on the site already. It's my bad. I think I had it already ready for you. That's all right. I got it. Got you. Google is your friend. All right. So I'm going to do this now. People will come on, like that's fine. But nobody comes on. Hey, it is what it is. All right. I think I got it this time. Yep, got it this time. All right. So this article tells you like why the real reason why Saturday morning cartoons disappeared. I'm gonna scroll down, and I'll just read from this. It says, "Kids today don't know the glorious experiences they are missing it. Back in the day, Saturday morning was the best time of the week. You get up early, you be happy about it. I mean, well, I'm just gonna skip past. But yeah, they were right about that. Let's see. Now they're one of the reasons say the government did. So this reason was so we'll read that. In 1990, Congress passed the Children's Television Act. Among its guidelines and broadcasters had to follow a minimum of 3 hours of 3 weekly hours of programs at educational or informational merit. And when asked nicely to do that, broadcasters, not surprisingly, did not change much of children's programming at all. Yeah, I guess these types can't ask nicely. So in 1996, the FCC decided to more aggressively enforce the CTA. Oh, okay. I was about to say, I know what it was, Children's Television Act. Okay. As a result, networks had to quickly throw in some learning material on the air, which they relied on syndicated television packages to produce. As per when, to actually put on air, and more than a third of local stations initially selected Saturday mornings, as they weren't actually required to air network shows at that time. So also that's when kids were most likely to be watching, meaning they were halfway there to school anyway. Thus, the slow but steady replacement of silly or and/or violent cartoons with travelogues hosted by overly energetic young hosts and a never-ending parade of shows about animals and how interesting they supposedly are. Hey, hey, Nicola. Yeah. So I'm just reading about the cartoons. I'm gonna go ahead and read more of it, and then if anybody wants to come on, I'll bring you on. All right. So now the next reason is the Children's Television Act of 1990 grade reduce advertising. Hmm. Yeah, advertisers don't like when you stop their money flow. So another part of the Children's Television Act increased regulations on advertising children. The act limited the amount of ads on weekend kiddie TV to no more than 10.5 million, 10.5 minutes per hour, which meant half a cartoon would cost more to produce. Now, after all, it had to be around 25 minutes in length, rather than the standard 22 minutes. All ads were impacted, so padding time by shilling for Metamucil during Garfield and Friends wasn't allowed either. But the real problem for the networks here was a lack of ad breaks meant meant less ad space they could sell. Less ad space equals less money, which went against the broadcast network's intent to make as much money as possible. Well, they asked you, you want to do it, so they had to force you. So then, next one, networks realized they can make more money with news and sports. Let me look at the chat real quick because I'm just all right. So we're going to the next reason. In 1988, NBC president Brandon Tartikoff, I don't know how you pronounce that, noticed that Saturday morning cartoon ratings were slipping, even the juggernauts like the Smurfs. So he began exploring other options for the time period. At that time, the average Saturday morning cartoon cost $300,000 to produce. Smurfs are apparently very expensive. Well, I didn't know it cost that much to make cartoon series, but I guess you want a good cartoon, I guess you have to spend that money. Tartikoff, I think I said his name, I don't know. And his team did some number crunching and found that it would be much cheaper to air news programs or extend today to the weekend. 4 years later, in 1992, that's exactly what NBC did. And the network also realized that it could run sports on Saturday mornings, which had already annoyingly preempted cartoons on the West Coast for years. In 1991, the network signed a 5-year deal with Notre Dame to air the college home football games on Saturdays. The contract cost $38 million, which works out to over a little over $1 million a game. That's still cheaper than producing 6 hours worth of cartoons. 6 hours, which would have run networks around 3.6 million. Plus, NBC could charge more for advertising during sports, beer, motor oil, more beer. The contract cost $38 billion. And then it could afford with cartoons, and to do so over way more ad breaks than allow for children's programming. All right. So, matter of fact, I'll just put the link up here just in case anybody wants to hop on while I'm finished reading this. All right. All right, there we go. All right, so we'll keep it going. Selling Saturday mornings to syndicators proved an easy way to make money. Okay. By the early 2000s, neither NBC or CBS was producing their own Saturday morning cartoon at all, leasing out the time period instead. Until 2002, ABC aired a block called One Saturday Morning, until replacing it with shows that had previously aired on their corporate sibling, Disney Channel. CBS handed off its precious Saturdays to Nick Jr. shows for preschoolers and babies. Fox held on until 2008 when it gave over part of their Saturday mornings to Weekend Marketplace, an umbrella title for a block of infomercials. Sorry, kids, no more X-Men, but you won't believe how this mop cleans. Okay, let's see. Disney-owned ABC got rid of its lineup of the Disney Channel reruns and sold the time period to Litton, a syndicator of low-budget educational television, travelogues, and animal shows. By 2014, the only channel with its own branded Saturday morning content was with the CW. With Vortex, a block of anime type shows like Sonic X and Dragon Ball. And it too disappeared in favor of One Magnificent Morning, which is of course a bunch of more animal shows. Yeah, I just hate that. We started thinking Mother Nature killed off Saturday morning cartoons, not greedy executive types. And then because cartoons came after school thing, I did remember that. I remember watching Mega Man NT Warrior and all that. So cartoons and kiddie programs in general were scant the old-timey TV landscape. In the dark days of the 4 channels, kids were lucky they even got one show just for them. In the 50s and 60s, it was mostly stuff like Captain Kangaroo in the morning, Mickey Mouse Club in the afternoon, and some locally produced show starring some guy dressed like a cowboy, clown, or pirate playing old cartoons. The rest of daytime TV was firmly occupied by what did well in the ratings and what sponsors threw their money at: game shows and soap operas. But as tastes changed in the 80s and 90s, the holes were filled by very syndicated cartoons, while many more were a little more than half an hour commercial for toys. It's undeniable that He-Man, Masters of the Universe, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, and the Ilk were totally awesome. Usually produced by the same animation houses that made Saturday morning cartoons by cheaply. Saturday morning style cartoons that suddenly became competition for homework, being available each and every weekday. This is say nothing to the enduring popularity of Disney's syndicated cartoon block, the Disney afternoon into the 90s. Saturday morning was no longer the only game in town. Hmm. Let me see if anybody has shown up. Okay. So I guess I'll keep going. Yeah, shout out to the four. All right, so we're gonna go to the next one. I'm not sure how many more I got left. But next was blame cable TV. We'll see why cable TV is to blame. With that being said, you notice all your local stations and network affiliates don't even play many cartoons in the afternoon anymore. That's because daily cartoons diminished the novelty and importance of Saturday mornings as the primo cartoon destination. So too were daily cartoons' existence rendered moot by cable TV. Yeah. By the mid 90s, the majority of American homes were equipped with a magical box that brought, equipped with a magic box that brought into the homes of dozens of niche channels, including multiple ones that showed nothing but cartoons and other kids' stuff all the time. No interesting animals need apply. It's almost endless offerings. Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and offshoots like Disney XD, Boomerang, and Nicktoons, respectively, made every day feel like a Saturday morning all day long. The piecemeal of both syndicated cartoons and the old stalwart of Saturday morning just couldn't compete with cable's all you can watch cartoon buffet. That's fair. And the next one, the internet did it. Today, with all those cable channels and more, continue to churn out animated material, but the world of TV and how it's consumed continues to evolve. A lot of those cartoons now available on low cost streaming services like Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and other cable networks on websites and apps. Kids, and let's be honest, those can watch cartoons whenever they want, wherever they want. They don't have to be parked in front of a TV on a Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to sharp, AM sharp to see brightly colored cartoon characters zigzag across the screen. Kids will definitely still watch cartoons on their on. Kids will definitely still watch cartoons on Saturday morning, but now they can watch and say Sanjay and Greg on Hulu at 8:14 on their phone without even getting out of bed. Sorry, Saturday morning sorry, Saturday morning network cartoon block. You can't compete with the American Dream. I don't know what Sanjay and Greg is. I'm sure it's like a show for kids, but I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So that we'll just bring it back, and I'll give my opinions on that. So like reading this article, it just kind of gave me a good insight on how this has affected Saturday morning cartoons, because I know people have asked where they went, and there was like really no real explanation given. It was just like it was there one day, and then the next day it was gone. And here's the website, just in case anybody's interested in checking it out for themselves. But yeah, like I said, anybody that wants to come up and get up on the chat, talk about it, more than happy to open up this discussion for everybody. Uh, but it's more than that, like, yeah, I used to love watching Saturday morning cartoons. Like, next up, one of my favorite would be like, this was like G.I. Joe, Shaman King, Let's see, what is, oh yeah, the Yu-Gi-Oh series. Oh yeah, I used to love watching that. That'd be like the last one that come on. I couldn't wait to check that out. Let's see, what are the shows that Saturday? Because I know it was like a lot of. I don't think Thundercats was a. Well, yeah, it was Saturday morning cartoon show, but it was on cable. Man, it's like a lot of cartoon shows. Yeah, but it was like cartoons were just fun to watch. Oh yeah, Sonic X was my favorite, one of my favorite ones. And I probably just really see and thought about it, I probably would think of a whole lot of them. But I did like when Mega Man T Warrior when it was. I think when it first came out, I think it was on Saturday. They did move it to the weekend after school. I know, right? All right, sure. Yeah, I still watch her now and then, but nowadays, cartoons ain't really too many good cartoons you can actually watch nowadays. Like as far as you know, like cartoons, I will remember as a kid, that had like some real storylines and like stuff had to make sense. It couldn't just be just all silly and goofy. Now, as like a really small child, don't really matter because you can be silly and goofy because they ain't gonna care. But it's just like yeah, one of my favorite shows was Teen Titans. I think they did actually come on a Saturday, but it was on cable. And I used to love that show because it was like actually a solid storyline. The character. It was like actually watch a superhero show. Oh yeah, just like when they came out, they like Justice League and Batman, Superman. They had their own TV series on WB, and it was a pretty solid show. Along with that, and especially like in the '90s, seeing '90s Spider Man on Fox. Oh yeah, that was life. I remember watching the final episode of Spider Man. It was like a two-part episode, and I think it was like all the Spider Mans from different universes fighting together to save the multiverse. It was cool. I would say like cartoons I would actually watch would be would actually be probably like the amazing the Spider-Man shows they got out for Marvel now, and like Young Justice I still need to finish that one because I never heard about that. I was like, oh wow, okay. It kind of reminds me of like the Teen Titans. And when I think it's like that one. I thought they, I guess they Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and the Rebels, even though they're CGI, they're still considered cartoons. I can't even really think of nothing else newer. But yeah, anybody else want to hop on the panel? I will put the link in again. You're more than free to, talk about, reminisce about the, cartoons or, if you want to. If not, I'm probably gonna shut it down in a few minutes. Yeah, of course, like Saturday morning was like the, this is like the one you're waiting for, and I think at that time, yeah, it did used to be longer and they did cut it down. Cause I remember it used to be like maybe you probably watch it from like 6 in the morning to like 12, to like 11 to 12 in the morning, 11 or 12, and then I think then I think then like when they did that cut, they cut it down like from like 8 to to 11 or something like that, or 12. So like when they cut down that low, you had to, you know, if you wanted to, really sleep in, you're gonna miss out on some of your good shows, and you ain't really have nothing to go see them again unless they decide to do a rerun on it. Yeah, but yeah, but yeah, pretty much like which Saturday was the big show, but they had like other cartoons like through the week, like 30 90s, like Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, uh, like I mentioned, Mega Man 2 Warrior, Tiny Toon Adventures, Darkwing Duck, Gargoyles, uh, Tailspin, which I heard they brought that back. I only watched one episode of it, but it was okay. Yeah. I thought they kind of, they kind of did it right, but just the story was different. Tailspin, I mean Ducktales. Yeah, I think I mentioned Ducktales. And Tailspin, Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Man, I mean, yeah, I mean, I understand now. Like reading, I kind of understand it, but it was like, yeah, like people are probably looking forward to Saturday morning cartoons, like watching on TV. Yeah, you just gonna have to catch it on the internet like everybody else. Which I mean, it makes sense because like yeah, if everybody's watching on the internet, then yeah, we get paid for it. But as far as that, I can totally understand it. Show like the slow, because the article showed like the slow fall of Saturday morning cartoons. It was just like it was like every time the television evolved, the Saturday morning affected the Saturday morning cartoon as a whole. So with that, I guess I'll see if anybody else wants to come up, but like nobody else is gonna come up, so I guess I'll just go and get some shout outs. Guess this will be short. I might change to something else, but change the title to something else, but yeah, I guess I'll go and give my shout outs. So shout out to Shar, shout out to Cola, better known as Coleman Baby, and shout out to Nikki. Appreciate you all, and I'm about to go in the stream. Since nobody's come up here to talk, I appreciate y'all for coming through and checking me out. And hope y'all have a great week. Home is about racist people, and I'll see y'all later. Have a